How did that move? Hello, my loves. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. Hoping you can hear me. Let me also put my phone, my devices on D&D mode. Actually, no, I gotta leave it the way that it is because my boyfriend is about to get on a flight. And yeah, okay. Nolia says, I hope you're all doing well. So far, I'm good. Cian says, I never catch the beginning of these. Woohoo. Welcome, my love. Tam Tam B, love your name, says, hi. Sabrina says, hey, Jess. KBS channel says, yes, I made it. Hunter Standable, love that name. ASMR says, hello. Hello, my love. Sabrina says, I'm wishing everyone here love and light. Liz says, you look gorgeous. Thank you, my love. Can you guys hear me clearly? I'm hoping that you can. Gregory says, woo, we out ya. We sure are. Creative Ruler says, peace, Jess. Peace, love, and blessings. Mimi says, oh, snap. I made it. You sure did. You came with perfect timing. Felicia 42 full says, wow, Jess, you look amazing. Thank you, my love. So much. I appreciate it. I tried. Hunter Standable says, I'm an Aquarius with like six placements of it. Things have been absolutely insane lately. Yo, I can only imagine. Just Us Jenkins says, yay on Monday. Yes, Mondays are good because this is our time to be able to connect. It's our time to be empowered. It's our time to be fully aware of exactly what is that we can expect for the week ahead. For those of you guys that are brand new, because there have been some new faces on my YouTube channel and also on Instagram, which I was promoting this live. My name is Jess. And for those of you guys that are old friends and family to the YouTube channel, welcome back. Oh my God, I just looked down on my WhatsApp and it's 111 notifications. So 111. Shout out to us. Okay. Hunter says, you're glowing, mama. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Courtney says, so much love to you, Jess, and right back to you. Thank you so much. Sun Kiss Chaos says, moon day, baby. It sure is. This day is ruled by the moon for those of you guys that don't know. Tessa says, hey, girl from South Africa. Oh my God, I want to go to South Africa so bad. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kelsey H says, my Libra cat just got sick. Yikes. I'm sending you my love. I hope that there's a quick recovery there and that your kitty feels better soon. Mamma Mia says, don't forget to give that video a thumbs up or give this video a thumbs up. Yes, I really want to encourage you guys to give this video a thumbs up. We have about just under 300 people in here right now at this moment and about 70 comments. We're about 3 minutes in. So if you guys could give this video a thumbs up, I would very much appreciate it. Okay, 84. Thank you guys so much. Charisse says I hope you're well from everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate that. Marianne says hi from Australia. Hi, Marianne. Where are you guys all tuning in from? If you can let me know down in the comments and keep this conversation going through that, I would really greatly appreciate it. Me currently, I am in Florida. Yep, praying for rain. I've been feeling, while you guys are sending your notifications, Maryland, Detroit, Brooklyn, Toronto, Oregon, Memphis, Wales, UK. My sister is just in Wales, UK, actually. My dad texted me this morning and said that he was there as well. Okay. Vancouver, Tampa, Florida. Nice. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Charlotte, Virginia, San Antonio, Texas, North Carolina, Tennessee, Los Angeles. Something about a Puerto Rican in Arkansas. God bless you. New Zealand, Ocala, Florida, California, Philippines, New York, New Jersey. Wow, you guys, thank you so much. Dallas, Rochester, New York, Maryland, north of San Diego, Illinois. Okay, wow. Rotterdam in the Netherlands, wonderful. Ohio, Boston, Texas. Mally Hallmark says, Jess, what were you going to tell us? I was going to tell you that lately I've been getting really interesting, strong hunches and nudges towards the weather. As right after, maybe 3 days after I made a tweet on my Twitter, because that's where tweets go, there was a huge outbreak with storms, tornadoes, crazy hailstorms, and I've been feeling it, man. I've been feeling it. I remember when I first bought my house, everyone was telling me to get homeowners insurance, which I did. But I also, in the back of my mind and my intuition was like, okay, it's a part of the protocol to get insurance because you can't predict, most people can't predict exactly what's going to happen. So you get homeowners insurance just in case, especially as a brand new homeowner. So I went along with that vibe. However, I had this feeling, this hunch that that year it was going to be chill, and that even though hurricane season was coming, that we were going to be pretty, it's going to be pretty relaxed. And it was. There was a hurricane, but it wasn't anything intense. In fact, it was pretty chill for us, even though there were other areas that got rocked. Now, when I bought my house, of course, I was thinking about myself and my own circumstances. However, this year, right before I put that tweet out, I just kept getting, there were like maybe 2 months before, I just had this feeling again and again. I'm like, this year is going to be just something that we need to be prepared for. And if we're not, if we, and it's not just here in my area, I feel it all across the globe. I think that this is going to be a really crazy year for weather patterns. And I know that people have been saying that before in the years to come. Again, last year, I did not feel the way that it is that I feel this year, where I'm like, if you have, if you have a home, or even if you're renting, or if there's some way that you can protect yourself, please do it, because these weather patterns are so, the fact that it's coming through so strongly again and again and again makes me feel like if you are normally in an area in the world that gets storms or is apt to these major changes, then you heighten that and you stay on high alert. You keep your notifications on your phone on. There's apps that I use to let me know when there are weather pattern changes that I should be aware of immediately, because things happen real fast. So there's that. And if you are in an area where you don't get hit by these storms, I would still, I don't think I would be on high alert, but I would make sure that my homeowners insurance, renters insurance, car insurance, those things are being taken care of. And I believe that there are things that you can scrape by on. For example, I'll, like, for me, I'm self-employed, so there are years where I take my insurance, like I keep my insurance on, and then there'll be a year where I take off because the amount that I have to pay for my insurance is crazy. So I give myself breaks. So there are times where I connect and I ask myself, is this going to be a year where I'm really going to need this, or is this a year that's going to be relaxed? And this is one of those years that I can say, I really strongly believe that if you haven't already started incorporating ways to protect yourself when it comes to changes in the weather, changes in our world, like the earthquakes, natural disasters, volcanoes, flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, crazy windstorms, something that shouldn't be so drastic and extreme has a really strong chance of going from 0 to 100 real quick, real fast. And I genuinely get this sense that life as we know it can change in the blink of an eye. So it can go from being a really sunny day to everything is good, calm, kind, and kosher, to something just showing up out of the blue. And I say this to say, we should be aware, but we shouldn't be fearful. We shouldn't be feeling anxiety, anxious, tension. I'm someone who has always had a heightened sense of sensitivity. So I would always feel anxious, or I could feel like a sense of impending something, or this fear, because I could sense that something was happening around me, or people would be saying like everything is fine, everything is normal, and I can tell that it's not. So that would contribute to my anxiety. I'm someone who has baseline anxiety. So astrology and being able to work with my intuition has always empowered me to know when there's a sense of danger and I could be prepared for it and then act appropriately, versus walk around with this generalized anxiety, not knowing where something is going to come through. So, astrology is a tool that you can use to help plan or prevent or act in the event that something that you sense does actually occur, versus you just walking around feeling like at any moment a meteor could just drop from the sky. What if, guys, what would you do if I was live right now? I was just like, at any moment a meteor could just drop, and then like a meteor actually dropped. That would be nuts. And we were just like live. Okay. Terrible sense of humor, to be honest with you. Terrible. Okay, 86 mil says tornado hit Virginia Beach yesterday. I heard about that. And literally, I don't know if you guys, my tweet went up maybe like a month, maybe not even a full month ago. But once I put that tweet out there, I mean, within 2 days or 3 days, it was just like bam, bam, bam. This tornado, this storm, and it was huge. These were not normal circumstances. If you are in a place where tornadoes normally hit, it's like the intensity of these storms. Of course, we're entering into a more stormy season in my area, but it's the intensity of these storms. It's the volume of the hail, the wind. It's so stronger than what it usually is, and that's the energy that we're in right now, and it's really in alignment with what my intuition was already feeling. Now, I believe that every single one of us has really strong intuition. Always follow your angels, your guides, always listen to your gut instinct. However, at the same time, I do this for my work. I want to take into consideration the fact that many of you guys are balancing your day-to-day intuition, your day-to-day spiritual practices with 9 to 5 jobs, other responsibilities, taking care of children or whatever the case is. This is something that I have the luxury, the ability to be in almost all throughout the day and all throughout the night. So I think it's a blessing to be able to share my predictions with you guys. But at the same time, I do want to say that if you take more time, you will probably get a sense, the same sense as that I'm getting, because I feel like we've all been coming into alignment. And it's so important that we're sharing our predictions, our feelings. What have you guys been feeling? Having said that, are there any intuitions or feelings or vibes that you guys have been picking up on? Anything specifically? Okay, Nan, in the meantime, I'm going to read this tweet or this response real quick in the comments. Nan Brun says, make a go bag with a couple days clothes, toiletries, etc. So in an emergency, all you need to do is grab things on your go list, meds, documents, and last minute stuff. Exactly. They also included dog and cat food and water, have them ready. And that is so important. And I know that years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there were people that would have go bags in their home. Yes, Lala says already done. Exactly. Tiana says anticipation for a big event, not sure what. Okay, yeah. Gregory says I've been feeling like a lightning rod. It sounds like you're channeling energy. Definitely sounds like you're channeling energy. But yeah, 10, 15 years ago, people were making go bags and people were looking at them being like, oh my God, you sound insane right now. Your anxiety is reckless. You know, there's a concern, but it's not that much of a concern. And I get that. I did not have a go bag back in the day, but now where we're going in our society and the way that the energy feels, and even looking at the planets, astrologically speaking, these are things that we don't want to be anxious, but we want to make sure that we are prepared. And I love the fact that Nan did include that, because go bags are something that you can keep in your house, in your home, in the event of an emergency, so that you're not scurrying around and gathering all of your stuff. And I'm not a doomsday prep type of person. I'm really not. But just the way that things are looking right now, you know. Yeah, just us Jenkins says our family has bug out bags. Exactly. There's things like that called bug out. Exactly. If it's, you have the bug out bag, and you have just like a bag that you can Google it. If anybody wants to share like a link down in the description box to share with others, then feel free. Yeah. Jess B says that she's been feeling major anxiety, vivid dreams, and sadness. It sounds like you're releasing. So that leads me to what we're going to be talking about today. So we have about 400 people in here, about 15 minutes in, about 200 likes. I think we're ready. To discuss. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rachel says Amazon has them already pre-made. I can imagine that they do. I can't imagine that it is affordable. I mean, maybe, but these are things that you can get and you can build over time. And those bug out bags or go bags, like emergency bags, they're so unique to everybody. Usually, everyone has such unique needs. that it's hard to kind of make something specific. I would still do a search on Google, on Pinterest, or YouTube, and see what other people are kind of packing in their bug out bags or to go bags. Let's call them to go bags. And then tailor them as far as what might work, not work for you, but what your needs might be, and incorporate them or make copies or documents of them so that they're all in one safe space. And the one thing that I would invest in, especially during Mercury retrograde time, are document file protector things that like fireproof, waterproof, that can kind of seal. I think they're anywhere between $23, $22, just in case, because you don't want anything to happen to your main essentials. And even when things calm down in our society, you can still hold on to them. It's going to protect it from mold, insects, etc., etc. Nothing will hurt your main documents that you need. Every single one of us. Yeah, just us Jenkins says water filtration straws. It's funny because I have those too, but that's because I was a nut. I just that was just, they were on sale, and Instagram and other apps started realizing like, oh, she's prepping for the doomsday, and they were just like, you should probably get those straws, and then it really got me. But having said that, you guys, there is a lot that we need to talk about this week. There's a lot that we need to talk about this week, especially with all of the retrogrades that's happening. And I would like to take one big collective deep breath. I would really like to take one big collective deep breath. Why? Number one, because we are starting off with a bang, talking about the doomsday and bug out bags and the weather and changes and being prepared for the worst. And then I'm going to start transitioning into talking about Pluto retrograde and the solar eclipse that's happening. I'm sorry, solar lunar eclipse that's happening in the sign of Scorpio, which is very fucking intense. Mercury retrograde, Sun conjunct Pluto. There is so much energy here that is like lighting a match to a hairspray bottle. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that, but if you haven't, don't. Good times, but also don't do it unless you know what you're doing. Basically what I'm saying is that you're going to create like an explosive type of energy here, or the planets are creating explosive energy, and it can be really hard to control how things are going to be panning out, because we can't actually control the way that things are panning out. So before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to ground and to center ourselves by making like a collective deep breath, right? So if we can just exhale, then inhale in, holding it as my eyelash. Okay. And then exhale. Good. I'm going to set the intention that my eyelash stays on during the entirety of this chat. I'm going to set the intention for that. Second, I'm going to set the intention that the time that it is that we share here, now, in this moment, that it be constructive and empowering to every single person here. I'm going to set the intention that we are protected, that we are safe, that we are being guided, that even as the environment around us might be chaotic or things might be outside of our control, that we understand what we are capable of and what we are worthy of, and that there's a sense of peace and understanding that everything that is happening right now in this moment is for our highest and greatest good, and that the divine, our angels, our guides, our ancestors are actively and always looking out for us, and there is nothing at any moment, at any time, that we need to have fear about. Nothing at any moment, at any time. I'm setting the intention that in this moment, for this next hour that we spend together, that there be messages that are received, messages that are delivered, that give greater clarity and insight into the moments to come, and that every single person who is joining in tonight, this moment, that they be blessed, that they be looked after in this moment, the moment to come, the moment to come, the moment to come. I set the intention that anything that is being transformed, anything that is being rocked, anything that's being taken down, dismantled, that it be rebuilt up bigger, better, stronger than ever before, with value that is undeniable. Value that will see you and carry you through until the very end of your life. A very long, happy, healthy, long-lasting life that is yours. I set the intention that I myself facilitating this conversation, that I understand the power of my words, that I use my discernment and use my gifts in a way that is constructive and responsible. It is never my intention to hurt, to harm, or to lead anyone astray. And I don't take that lightly. I don't take that lightly. That is a responsibility that I hold firmly within my hands. I am grateful for this moment. Now, having said that, let's dive in. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. So, first things first, my loves. Thank you for being here as I'm pulling up the charts. Thank you. Immense gratitude for every single one of you. Second, shout out to those of you guys that I've been working with on a private level, my private clients. I've been working on your oils and your candles. Thank you so much for allowing me to create for you. Third, if you can, please, guys, gratitude, can you pull open your charts, your astrology chart, your natal chart? I have the chart of the moment pulled up, but I highly recommend that you pull up your natal chart. But if not, if you're driving or if you're doing yoga or if you're working out right now, don't pull your chart up, honey. Focus on you. Do what you got to do, boo. Do it to it. And you can catch up later on. But, and also thank you for incorporating me into your day-to-day practices and stuff. Because I know so many of you guys be working out. So many of you guys be on the treadmill while we're talking about this. Like 7 o'clock, you're like, yes, we're doing it. And I love that because right after this, what do you think I'm going to be doing? That. So first things first, you guys, we do have the sun transiting through the sign of Taurus. And in a nutshell, what this energy brings is a highlight on what it is that we are meant to value. Our values are currently shifting, transiting, transforming so greatly. And this happens by these swings of, I don't know if what I have right now is going to be mine to keep forever. Having said that, what is it that I need? What is it that I want? What is it that is so important? If I'm putting in all this work and this energy and this effort into the securing of these things, is it worth all the energy that I'm putting into it? Does it make sense at the end of the day? Taurus the sun as it's transiting through the sign of Taurus, Mercury now that it's retrograde in the sign of Taurus, Uranus creating all these unexpected developments in the sign of Taurus, does bring in this energy of, I do like things. I like nice things. I want nice experiences. But also at the same time, it brings into this huge question of, at what cost? Is it worth it? And if it's not worth it, or if these are nice things, but it's costing me too much, what is it that is actually important to me? And that is what I need to prioritize at this moment, at this season in my life. So I'm very curious to hear what has been a priority for you guys. And with that being said, I'm going to share something that I started learning for myself. So during this transit, and the reason why I'm sharing is because I believe that we are all super connected here today. And it can be so easy for me to come on here and be like, yeah, you tell me your experiences. And then I don't share anything. One of the things that I said before I went on my trip to Costa Rica was that if I didn't feel a connection with those girls, for the people who joined on the trip to Costa Rica, if I didn't feel like I was being seen as a human being, that after that trip, I was going to shut BehatiLife down because I didn't feel like I was being seen as a human being. I was only seen as this tool, this resource where I was coming in and sharing my knowledge and my wisdom with the whole world. I could see the benefit of it, but it was dehumanizing. So I set the intention that as I would ask you guys to share your experiences, that I would share mine, even as a private person. So that's why I want to also share my experiences, because this is my way of being like, listen, we are all in this together. And I want, especially as those girls, they taught me so much. And for those of you guys that are from the Costa Rica trip who are tuning in right now, which I hope that you are, but if not, it's totally cool because I'll see you in the chat later on tonight. Thank you guys for even seeing me, because it was like a year ago. Was it a year ago? It was long enough ago, but it still changed me. It still sticks with me today. So one of the things, yeah, Tasha's in here. My girl, love Tasha. Okay, so one of the things that stood, and Tasha was one of the first people I said too. I was just like, listen, I need to be seen as a human being, or if not, I'm shutting everything down. So one thing that was always very important to me during, as Uranus, all of my life, but as Uranus, this planet of disruption and surprise and erratic change, was I needed to feel safe. I needed to feel stable. Me coming from instability and things changing within my life as I was growing up, stability and predictability was not something that I could count on, even because I had a Virgo father and Aquarius mother. So things were just, pulled in different directions. Nothing against them because they have their own path. Aquarius is going to do Aquarius things. Virgo is going to do Virgo things. I'm a Virgo, but if I'm the daughter or the child of Virgo Aquarius parents, there's going to be some lapse, right? So how that showed up for me was I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be ambitious. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep setting the bar, the standard higher and higher for myself, because that is going to create this idea of safe for me. So I held on to that. What are the things that represent safety for me is what I'm going to strive and work harder for again and again and again. Every fucking day, I'm going to show up with this same intensity, same drive, same ambition, because once I secure this, I'm going to finally, for the first time in my life, feel safe and secure and stable. And guess what? It wasn't these external things. It wasn't these goals and standards that I had that were valuable to me that were going to give me this feeling of safety and safety net. Because I'm telling you, at the very top of that, at the top of my game, where you would look at me and think that I felt the best, I actually felt very, very void. I felt very dehumanized. I didn't feel a sense of compassion and grace and kindness and softness for myself. And I realized that now that Uranus is transiting through the sign of Taurus, the thing that is going to make me feel very safe is not my environment. My home, of course, is going to be very important, but it's going to be my sense of connection to the divine, my sense of my ability to ground myself, my ability to have balance within my day-to-day life. That is the thing that is going to make me feel safe, secure, stabilized. And those are the Taurus energies that incorporate that. Sorry, that comment just threw me off, yo. Leah said, damn, I just puked. Send me healing, y'all. Girl, are you okay? Go take a break. Go take a break. Go get some ginger ale. Ladria Moon says, but all that stability and peace went out the window. It all came down. Exactly. So it's not these Uranus as it's transiting through the sign of Taurus. It disrupts the very things that you think that you value the most in order to show you, highlight you, teach you what it is that you actually need. And Uranus energy will challenge you to feel a sense of freedom, self-expression, and to radicalize your current circumstances so that you can see, be seen, and learn and grow in a way that contributes to your overall evolution as a human being while you're here on Earth. And it's really fucking hard to see that in the moment. Why? Because number one, we're human, but number two, Uranus energy throws us into the future and says, I know you can't understand and see it now, but you will. The changes that are happening here, the changes to your value, your core value, are going to shapeshift and change so greatly so that in the future, you will understand why this had to happen, why this needed to be done, why you needed to break away from the day-to-day monotony. And the thing is that Taurus energy can be very, very stubborn. It says, this is the way that I've been doing it since the beginning of time. Why would I change it now? Because it's old, it's antiquated, it's worn out, it doesn't serve you anymore. Now, as we are currently in Taurus season, the sun is transiting through the sign of Taurus, Mercury ruling our ability to communicate, understand, to express ourselves, to hear what is being said and be able to process it and make sense of it, is currently retrograde. We have to give extra space and grace and time and compassion and consideration for all of the unknown, for all of these old thoughts and old processes and old things, old ways that we communicate that, again, are outdated and do not serve us. There are certain belief systems that have been set in this dirt for so long, waiting to be uncovered, waiting for you to discover it so that you can find it, see it, choose to do better. And it can really be tough. Shawnee Hogan says, my mind is blown. This all makes sense for me. Exactly. And I say this is not an easy process. This, when I tell you, Uranus transiting through the sign of Taurus, the sun even transiting through the sign of Taurus, Mercury transiting through the sign of Taurus. These are the very things that we hold on to and we say, no, I'm not letting go of this because this is what works for me and this is the only way that I can do it and this is how I know it to be. And this is where we have to say, listen, I know that this is the way that you might have learned. I know that this is your belief. I know that this is your thought pattern. It makes sense. It served you. It had to have served you up until this point. But are you open to considering the fact that now is the time to maybe do things a little different? How many of you guys love tarot? I'm someone who loves tarot so much. I don't even know what I would do without tarot in my life. I'm shuffling every single day. Aqua Moon says me. Lorraine says me. Yeah. N says girl. Leah, my stomach is a mess. I feel you. Yeah. So we got some upset tummies in the chat right now. The Martian Empress says, I love tarot. Yes. Tasha's Dreams to Reality with the hearts is saying that she loves tarot with the hearts. Thank you guys. Darling Tarot says, yes, duh. Girl, I'm sorry. I should have known when I read your username. Meditating Astronaut, love your name, says, I've been reading tarot for 6 years now. Love that. Tia Iman says, me, I just started practicing and I'm in love. Ugh, don't even get me started. Tarot is my first true love. It's going to be with me for the rest of my life. Better be. Pootie Tang says, I haven't learned it yet. Give it time. You'll probably come to it. Shayna, love your name, says, I have your book. Thank you, my love. I appreciate it. So in the tarot deck, the card that is ruled by Taurus is the Hierophant. And how many of you guys know what the Hierophant represents? What is the main thing that jumps out to you when you think about the Hierophant? What is the main thing that stands out to you? For me, it's the word tradition. Okay, Laura says teaching, teacher. Yes, tradition. Someone says the hermit, institution. There you go. Dama says wisdom. Yes. Cup of plantains says order. Mentor, structure, God, institutions, control, process, structure, marriage. Interesting. Someone said smart bish. Are you referring to me or the tarot card? Wisdom, commitment, religion, restriction, structure, a fighter, traditional beliefs, wisdom, joker. Interesting. Tradition and family, and also masculine energy. So these are some of, I am Nyambi says, set the rules for your land. And I'm pretty sure you're emphasizing the word land because it's also ruled by earth energy. So that's exactly what it is that I'm saying, that this is the current transits that are happening right now. Uranus, Mercury, and the sun transiting through the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is naturally aligned to the Hierophant. It is Taurus rules the energy of the Hierophant within tarot, and tarot rules all of what they just said. The one thing that stands out to me is the word tradition in institutions. It is what has been lived and learned and set into place, because for the vast majority, maybe the ways, the rules that things have been done or the way that things have been applied, it served in some way that made sense in that day and age. However, there is so much here that within every single one of us that we're being evolved, it's being radicalized, it's being transformed, it's being changed in some major way. And with that, the same institution, some of you guys have good feelings when you look at the Hierophant card, where you're like, oh my God, I love this card because it reminds me of marriage. It reminds me of institutions and things that protect me. Some of you guys, you have bad feelings towards it because you're like, oh my God, this reminds me of the Catholic Church and the rules and the regulation and all of the suppression. And I want to say, wherever you fall, you're not wrong. But I also want you to take a step back and look at where you might be dogmatic in your own thinking, where you might be stuck in tradition. What rules and institutions do you accept and incorporate within your own self? What type of institutions and mindsets and expectations do you have for others that are part of your own institution, that are part of your own tradition, that if it deviates or steps outside of that, that it gets punished? These are really important questions to ask. And again, they can be really revealing of areas within your life that you might be too stubborn, too rigid, or you might need to incorporate more boundaries here. Yeah. So it's interesting because Bozo the Clown just says mental asylum needs you. It's interesting too. Like, I don't know if you're trying to drag me right now, but I don't know. I can just take any negative energy and turn it into a positive or turn it into a learning moment. It's interesting that you say mental asylum because those energies can still, that mental asylum energy is so powerful. It's so telling. It's so significant because these are the same places that we go for repairing the mind and restructuring the mind or reprogramming the mind. And even the idea of like an institution where you have mental, the ability to kind of like heal the mind in a way that is constructive, in a way that is healthy. And those places were not they weren't supposed to be seen as places that were toxic or bad. They were supposed to be places where mental and emotional healing would be incorporated and would have been a positive experience. But again, there are certain places and certain energies that abuse that and took advantage of those vulnerable populations. And as I'm even talking about that, these are things that we're going to see even with Pluto retrograde and Mercury retrograde and Uranus and Taurus. These are energies that, okay, we're going to start seeing how these are the same people who used and abused and taken advantage of these vulnerable populations, taken advantage of these people, or taken advantage of people all over the world, all over the world. Okay. So, oh, are we supposed to be? Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry. I'm seeing. I understand. Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much for letting me know that person was trying to turn that into a bad moment. But honestly, I'm not mad at it because literally mental asylums at across the board, like I understand that they're trying to be negative in that case, but it just goes to show too that the idea of that institution being something that is deemed as a bad thing and toxic is another thing that I believe is a perfect example of what is being radicalized. a, 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 a a turn in something that has been abused is turning into something that should be healthy, constructive, and healing for the people. And if we're talking about institutions, even though if I was going to dive into that, that would be more 12th house matters, and Taurus actually rules the second house. This is just me going off on an astrological tangent, though. So I'm going to move on. Anyways, I just felt that was really important. Okay. Hold on. I am actually, Lex says, I want to be a psych professor as a Latina. I hope to make some of change in terms of representation in the educational system. I hope this transit can help with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, I'm sending you my love right now with that. Yeah, Tay says the Hierophant reminds me of society. Exactly. So we can see how society can be something that is positive and constructive, but there's also certain dynamics that need to be changed, that need to be positive. There's also some people in positions of power where their power needs to be revoked. There's some type of belief systems that are set into our society that need to be changed. There's some things, issues of equality. Our values are being called into question. And if that doesn't sound like Sun, Mercury, Uranus transiting Taurus type of energy, I don't know a better example of that, because that's literally our values as a whole, as a society, are being called into question. And what does that look like? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Pootie Tang says 3 of us can do a write up and make Bozo spend 3 days in one. I'm actually, Lex says, thanks guys, sending love, sending everyone love. Yes, and sending love back to you. Keep us posted with that. Absolutely. Yes, the pink lady says some of us live outside of the box. Exactly. And I want to say this too, that even if you live outside of the box, even if you live in a non-traditional way, I still wonder if there's a way for you to, and maybe there isn't, but is there a way where this message does apply to you, even if you are the most eccentric, think outside of the box person and character? Is there still a belief system or something that you, a value that you hold, that you might now at this point in your life might be growing out of, even if you are the most different strokes for different folks type of person? I still wonder. I still wonder. Okay. Um, Jude says, interested in seeing whose power is revoked in the coming years as Pluto really gets into Aquarius and Uranus finishes off in Taurus. Exactly. And thank you, Jude, so much for bringing this up, because that is the next point that I want to talk to you guys about, is the fact that Pluto is now starting today retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, retracing his steps back into the sign of Capricorn. Now, Pluto rules power, control, manipulation, the subconscious, the shadow self, psychology, and also the breakdown of our darker selves, our subconscious selves. It rules the mystery, it rules secrets, it rules manipulation, and how we wield that sword. Sometimes, from the lens of society, sometimes we look at government or businesses or money or certain energies, and we immediately attribute them to evil or bad. Or sometimes we look at certain people, how they label themselves, and we make an instant connection, or we have a subconscious belief about them based upon what they say or what they do. And as Pluto is now retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, it is so important. Well, as Pluto is transiting through the sign of Aquarius, it's so important that we don't take things for face value. It's so important that we try to connect intimately with humanity so that we can better understand how we can help and heal each other. And that is going to be the main overarching theme outside of technology and advancing tech and science and information sharing moving forward, as Pluto is transiting through the sign of Aquarius. But now that this planet is retrograde, we're going to start taking, I want to say baby steps, but it's not. We're going to start taking big steps back into the sign of Capricorn, where we are inevitably going to have to relive those Pluto transiting Capricorn cycles and energies that we've already thought that we have broken free from. Now, Capricorn connects us to bigger business, bigger how things are established and rooted. So this could be business, politics, corporations, larger institutions. It's the root of what makes them successful and how they protect or harm all of us individually, but also as humanity. And as Pluto now is retrograding back into the sign of Capricorn, these contracts, these obligations, this duty of people in positions of power gets called back into question. Have these same people, have they been fair? Have they used their power in ways for good? Or have they begun to see their power, get power hungry, get power crazy, and begin to have toxic traits or selfish ways that have harmed the people of the world or themselves, their family, etc., etc.? It's easy for us to watch on the news and point the finger and say, this person used their power wrong. This person is rich and was evading their taxes. This person was doing this and harmed, blah, 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 blah. But I also still want to invite, because we are all under the same umbrella of energy, I want to invite every single one of us into that dark closet. That dark closet that we board up and we say, no one's going to come in here. No one's going to see my shadow. No one's going to see my evil dark truth. No one is going to this part of me, this belief system, this thought, this part of me that is so vulnerable is off limits to everyone. Even if there's some people who know my secret or know my truth, I'm still not going to share it with the world. And you don't have to. But I really do want to, especially as we're watching it happen in the outside world, it's so easy for us to point the finger and be like, shame, shame, and want to break them down. You can do that, but at the same time, also realize that there's so much energy right now within humanity that says we are all connected, we are all aligned. So, as you're watching people in positions of power in government and the breaking down of banking institutions, all of those things are happening and breaking down. Also, realize that we are all under this too, and there is something to be gained from the breakdown of that other person too. Not that you're going to come in and steal what they left open or steal what has been taken from them or anything in that case, but what can you learn from it? How can you relate to what that person is going through? And as Pluto will be transiting to the sign of Aquarius, I want to tell you, prepare for it now, that as you watch certain people in humanity getting broken down, you are going to find yourself being, I don't want to say influenced, but it's going to hit close to home. So just go ahead and start preparing your heart and your energy and your space to relate to the same fucking people that you don't respect anymore, or that society is tearing them down, not because they don't deserve it. Because I will say that as Pluto is revisiting and going back into the sign of Capricorn, there's going to be a level of justice and fairness and equalizing and balancing that is long overdue. This current generation, meaning not people my age, but those who are living during this time in this generation, they are going to be the one to be hung from that, for that, maybe a terrible metaphor, but it's the truth. They're the one who are being held responsible for the sins of the people who brought them into the place that made them feel empowered to begin with now in the present moment. So even as we watch the same people who have been abusing power in politics, in government, and business, and banking, and institutions, and all those other things, you better believe that it wasn't just them that did it, that there were people, many generations that came before that paved the way for those same people to abuse those powers that we are now hanging them for in this moment. So if I had to, these people, as I watch them on the internet or as I watch on the news, I look at them and my first immediate reaction is to say, hang them. They are wrong. This is messed up. How could they go? They had a choice in the matter, and they did. But the higher self of me, the part where the astrology charts and the transits are teaching me to understand that, yes, I don't like this person. I don't respect their practices, but I need to learn from it, because it wasn't just them. And even them in this moment, they're a victim of the practices, the institution, the beliefs that set them up to believe that this was okay, to make it, to give them access to abuse this power. And yes, we all have choices. We all have choices and decisions that we make, and we have to be held accountable, and everything needs to be balanced out at the end of the day. But if I could put, and if I had to encourage anything within this moment, I'm not saying we need to like these people. I'm not saying that we need to support them. And yes, they do need to be held accountable. But where can you also relate to the same energy? What paths, what beliefs, what mindsets that have been incorporated up until this point along this path have helped you to feel like the way that you treat others, the way that you talk to others, the way you allow others to treat you, that was okay? And even as you're watching them being hung for this, as Pluto is retrograding back to the sign of Capricorn, I'm not saying that we don't hold them accountable for it, but allow yourself to learn and transform from the places that these same people were groomed into thinking that this was okay. I'm not saying that it's okay, but it is a living, learning moment. Okay. So, yes, Jessica B says, does this go for relationships as well? Yes, everything in our world is a relationship. But absolutely, when it comes to our intimate relationships and our intimate connections, there are people who over time they have abused their power. There are people who lie and cheat and take advantage of the very people that they make promises to and say, listen, I'm never going to hurt you or harm you in any way. Trust me, you can trust me. Pluto brings into those positions of power, control, manipulation, and taking advantage of people when they are least expecting it. It makes us as a society walk around with our guard up and our armor up saying, I can't trust anyone because the last few times that I did, I was taken advantage of, I was violated, or whatever the case is. So fill in the blank of where this comes through. But I love also, I love the fact that Jess, that you felt comfortable enough to share. Um, even by asking that question, you shared a part of yourself. And I love that. Number two, I love the fact that you are applying this overarching message that's happening in our cosmos to yourself, because that shows me that you're thinking outside of the box. That shows me that you are thinking meta, you're thinking beyond. Okay. She sees the forest and the trees. Okay. Not just the forest for the trees or whatever that metaphor is. Okay. Yes. Natalie says shame can be hurtful for the shamer too. Exactly. Now, does this mean that we say, okay, no, I forgive you, go get away with murder, blah, 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 blah? No, because this is a point in our history where the punishment and talking about it and acknowledging it is just as important, is so important. We can't just move on and be like, just sweep this under the rug. Again, like, no, we don't need to see that. Yes, I was a demon. Yes, I was dark and dank, and I'm not that same person anymore. I'm not. So just forgive me and pretend like it didn't happen. No, we need to have those tough conversations. It needs to be put out. It needs to be shared. If you're lucky, you can deal with it privately, but there are some people who won't. And I don't want in any of this for any one of us to watch these energies manifesting and showing up in the news, in our communities, in our family, in our personal lives, and not take accountability for the own energy that we bring, or how we can learn and grow and transform, and even the worst people, how we can relate to that. It's very important, for the sake of Pluto transiting through the sign of Aquarius and even Neptune transiting through the sign of Pisces. How can you identify and relate to the same people that you don't like, you don't respect? You can see the evil in them and the malicious in them. You can see where they have gone wrong. How can you relate to that? What way can you relate to that? I'm sure if you peel back the layers, you'll find something. Yeah, Blue Dream 33 says people are uncomfortable with accountability. And ain't that the truth? People are really scared sometimes of even saying, I'm sorry, or I messed up, or this is my truth. I wish I could make it better. Teach me, show me how I can do better. Okay, it's after that. Yes, Daywalker says, I forgive, but I stop the pattern. Exactly. And this is not only how we hurt or use our energy, our power to hurt others, but also how are our beliefs in our own institution and our own energies, how do we hurt ourselves with that? What are we telling ourselves every day? How do we set ourselves up for hurt and pain and ache and suffering? And we just say, okay, I'm moving forward. I not that I forgive it. You can try to say that you forgive it, but if you're not seeing it, really how can you really take accountability for it if you won't even talk about it, if you won't look at it? How can you really move on if you don't understand why it happened to begin with, you know? And these transits, Pluto retrograde is the return back to the closet that has been locked off, the part of our lives where we don't talk about, the part of our lives that we are not proud of, that we have shame on, and we just move on. We try to move on as if it never happened, when it's actually a very important part of our journey as human beings. We lived through it, we learned from it, and from that, hopefully, we become better. But let's not pretend like it didn't happen. Let's not talk about it. Let's not hide it away with shame and guilt. let's put it out there and say, you know what? The best thing I can do right now is to show up and embrace it and bring it to the table. Yeah, Laura and Fauna says, I love retrogrades. Me too. Me too. Rena says it's the sweeping under the rug for me. Right? There are so many things that I'm just like, oh, I've got so much today. I've got Astro Chat Live. Those people need me. I need them. This is my responsibility. This is my commitment to them. No, to them. And it's just like, girl, you got some shit that you need to take care of. Did you do this today? Because these are the rules, the things that you need to do, your obligations, your responsibilities, and they can't fall to the wayside just because you are telling yourself this. So Alicia says, I've been feeling a lot of tension lately. Yo, same. So we're about 55 minutes in, 55 minutes and 15 seconds last time I looked. We need to talk quickly about the Scorpio full moon eclipse that's happening on the 5th of May. What is this? Oh my God. I just remember the significance of Cinco de Mayo for me. Okay, Rose just said, does anyone else have a natal moon in Taurus? You can answer that question, definitely. Does anybody else have a natal moon in Taurus? I don't, but I'm just wondering. Also, for those of you guys that do have personal planets in the sign of Taurus, I'm praying for you. I really am. I don't mean to laugh, but that's just my way sometimes. But yeah, that's tough. Yeah, Lorraine says my natal moon is in Gemini. Yeah, Witch Lux says I'm a Taurus sun. Yeah, Amanda says I do. How are you guys' experiences? For those of you guys that have personal planets in the sign of Taurus, how are you holding up? Yeah, Trisha says we accept your prayers. I got you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, Rachel says it's been a lot. Empress says I do. It's kind of an opposite this eclipse. Don't laugh, Jess. I'm sorry. I won't laugh. Witch Luck says I feel emotional personally. Amanda says I'm not well. There's been a lot of stress. I know. Ashley says emotional disaster. I feel you. Rose says not well, girl. Pray for my wallet. Yo, I got you. Right? What the? Taurus energy will go right for your wallet. It really will. Your spending, your savings, your play money, all of it just takes it right out. Tony says it is kind of funny though. Sometimes it's easier to laugh when you're not in it. I'll say that. And sometimes it's easier to laugh looking back at it. But when you're in it, you're like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I won't lie to you. May 1st, that's the day, Sun conjunct Pluto. Everything is heightened. Think about if you have like an infection, like a pimple, and you're just like, oh my God, or a headache or a toothache or pressure in your brain, pressure in your head. And you're just like, oh my God, I just need to rest. I need sleep. I am exhausted. This is unbearable. It's just building up. There's no relief. That's what this energy feels like. So for those of you guys, especially if you have personal planets in the sign of Taurus, I'm setting intention. I'm praying for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am Nyambi says, I'm sleepy. Rest, my love. Yes. Lauren says, I've taken 3 naps. And that's the other thing too. Mary Rose says, I have the flu. Yeah, Gregory says, oh my God, I also have Taurus sun and Aries moon. Yikes. Tanisha says, I've been in my emotional state. Yeah. Yep. So yes, Michelle says this energy is no doubt triggering. I believe it. The Poet Lounge, love your name, says the headache pressure is definitely happening, but I'm Pisces. I feel you. But you know what? Pisces energy, you're still feeling it too because you're so receptive to the community. You're so receptive to other people. I'm a Virgo. I'm the opposite. And I've been feeling a lot of pressure too, and within my own self. Lucky for me, again, I've been incorporating a lot of balance, but you better believe it's like that energy within me that says, yo, this is how you normally would react to the situation. This is how you would normally, this is your normal relief. This is your normal release. And then I'll look back and I'd be like, I want to go back to those old ways. I want to have that same outburst. I want to have that same reaction, but I need to take a break. I need to take a pause because I have learned to do different, because the last ways that I did it was my old lower vibrational self, the parts of me that I've evolved and I transformed from, especially me, y'all. I have a spicy mouth. Oh my God. I also have no filter. No filter. Ah, You would think with like Virgo energy, like it's all over my face, it's all in my words, it's in my thoughts. It is offensive, the things that I say sometimes. And I'm just like, how do people still like me? Like my friends, my family, like you guys are still here. What? Are you sure? Like I like myself, but also damn girl, like really not necessary. Like, you know, when someone says something, it's just like we were all having fun. That was not necessary. That's me. I'm that girl at the table be like, so are we gonna talk about blah blah blah? It's like we're just trying to have a good time. I know, but like my Virgo moon, my Virgo Mars, my Virgo sun won't allow it. We gonna talk about this? That's my energy. Yes. Yes. And if not, I just can't sit at the table. I can't. I can't. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just my truth. Like, I just can't. It doesn't feel authentic for me to stay quiet all the time. I got something to say. It's like, oh my God, like who likes Virgos? Like, I know everybody said, no, I'm a Virgo, so I get it. But like, it's also like if you're close to a Virgo, close to Virgo energy, it's just like, why do we like you? Like, well, we know we're gonna get the truth for her, but like, still, Jesus, can you give us a break? Actually, no, I can't because I don't turn it off. I just can't turn it off. It's just always all the time. Yeah. Oh my God. Tracy77 says, I'm done with Virgo men forever. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. There is a layer and a level of patience that is you need to have through the roof when you're dealing with Virgo people in general. I mean, everybody has their things, right? But like, oh my goodness. I'm just saying from the lens of a Virgo. Yeah, Shayna says, why am I always negative? But I'm just telling facts. Is it negative or is it like the truth? Like, is it like the beat down truth? Like this, the truth just beating you up. Like that's Virgo conversation. And honestly, the truth, and to be honest, doesn't and or to be real doesn't mean that it has to be negative, but it's very confronting. Like even the smallest detail gets confronted. So yeah, Seventh and Aspen says, nah, it's negative. It's negative. That's so funny. Maureen says, Rodriguez says, but what is the truth today? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. So guys, just keep in mind that again, on the 5th, we do have the full moon eclipse happening in the sign of Scorpio, which is 100,000% going to reveal a lot of truth, a lot of revelations that might have been lying dormant. And this normally happens anytime we have a full moon eclipse, or lunar eclipse, but it's even more so when we take into consideration the fact that the planet that is ruling the Scorpio energy is Mars transiting through the sign of Cancer, very vulnerable. But also Pluto, who is now retrograde, exiting back, taking that little like dance out of Aquarius back into the sign of Capricorn. So if you look at the energy of an eclipse, number one, the energy of a lunar eclipse, which brings everything up to the surface, when you deal with Scorpio energy, which is the dark, shadowy realms of our subconscious, or mysteries, or secrets, or intimacy, or connection, or sex, or deviant behaviors, all of those. So there's that energy. Then you take into the fact that Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, who is now retrograde, who is kicking up all of the fucking dust, all of the dust, all of the muck, all of the filth from the swamp into our faces. It's very revealing. It has a lot to do with conversations, confrontation, addressing energies and information that might be difficult, might be largely transformative, and once it happens we can't take it back. And this is going to be for our highest and greatest good. It's meant to be empowering, it's meant to be constructive, it's not meant to be painful, although sometimes that comes right along with it. So don't be surprised if the person that you love, or there's energy around you that says, listen, we need to talk, and you're just like, fuck, I knew it. Or I need to tell you, this is something that I want, or I feel maybe this is a moment of total transparency with the world, with yourself, with your friends, with your job, with your career, or whatever, where you say, this is me, ugly truth. take it or leave it. And there's a feeling of rebellion and release and freedom, but also a bleeding of your heart because you're happy that you're able to say it, you speak your truth, but oh my God, what's going to happen next? And I want to say that if that's something that this energy is showing up for you, it's going to be, I'm so proud of you. I am giving you love and light and support and strength. I'm also speaking over you peace and protection and a blessing over your path now moving forward. I want that this moon, I'm setting the intention that this eclipse be something where what is revealed is something that you understand immediately. This is constructive and good for me. I am not going to operate from a space of fear. Even if I feel fear, I'm going to move past it because I'm strong. I trust myself. I'm okay with this challenge and I'm going to release, let it go, and become better because of it. So, yes. Dope says, girl, I'm literally going through this right now. I believe it. Yes. Lauren Fauna says, thank you. And same to you. Yes, I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Pretty Dope says, I'm about to cut my mom off and move away. I believe it. Maureen says, Jess, I'm not saying the group here, you are not speaking the truth. I mean, the amount of misinformation that keeps showing up on my feed, Insta, even Google has been insane. You know, all I can do personally at the end of the day is show up as my full self and give you guys all of my knowledge and never sugarcoat, never hold back. And I've that's been another main thing that I've been talking about, being fully transparent, that I can't stand. I love the fact that we have social media, but I also have always had this love-hate relationship with it because I'm almost embarrassed. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but I'm equally impressed and excited about the spirituality world and information sharing of like astrology and tarot and intuition and all of that. I'm equally impressed and excited about it as I am embarrassed about it. And sometimes I'm like, I want to show up as myself, but also I'm just a voice among the many. And I can't stand the idea of being linked to all these messages that are going out there because it is embarrassing and I can't relate. And I that has been my own personal battle with my work and with even having Instagram, having YouTube channel, because I didn't start this being like, oh, I want to be Miss America, Miss Congeniality. Clearly, I just told you guys how I normally come across, a little harsh and abrasive, sometimes truthful. Most people accept me for it and love me for who I am. I love that. However, sometimes it's really hard to coexist as myself. Anytime when you show up as authentic self and you're just so, it's your voice among the voices of many, and it comes with a lot of, comes with a lot. So I have decided, and that was one of the reasons why I even too was just like, why am I doing this? I could, but you know what it is? You want to know why I do it? Because there are people that really do respect astrology. There's people who show up for me, and I know how much I hear all the time how these chats and my messages and my channel readings, how much it transforms people. I'm not feeding the part of them that is hungry for lies or to tell them what it is that they want to hear. I'm not someone who's like, now's the time, rally, rally. And it's just like, you say that every fucking full moon. You say that every time. It's like you're just contributing to the noise of just, and this is why they are losing their faith. That's the thing that fucks me up, because if you keep saying what people want to hear, you're going to break their spirit. Did you hear what I just said? If you keep telling people what they want to hear, you are inevitably going to break their spirit. You're going to break their spirit. That when you break someone's spirit by trying to sugarcoat and candy coat what's happening in their life and telling them that it's going to end and then it doesn't, that is not a temporary, oh, I'm sorry. That's something that they have to live with for the rest of their fucking life. And I will never be someone. You will never find that with me. Never. Okay. I'm always going to keep it 100 with you guys. I'm always going to tell you this is when it's going to end. This is why it feels this way. This is why this part of your life is succeeding and doing well. And this is why this part of your life is struggling. And this is what you need to do to get through it. And this is what, and yes, it is exhausting because these planets, they don't evaporate, they don't disappear. They keep transiting, they keep moving. And if they go from one house, they're going to move into the next house. And then this is what you need to do to prepare for that. This is what you can expect. Okay. Not just because the full moon. Okay. Now it's time. Now it's time. You can continue saying that again and again. But also, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? How do you understand what's happening here? Okay. And also, astrology gives me peace because I'll look at the planets and I'll just be like, holy shit. Like, people will be like looking on the internet and looking at the world and be like, oh my God, the world is burning. And I'm just like, well, not the whole world, just this part of our world. And it's right on time. And this is for as long as it's going to happen. This is for as long as it's going to experience. And then after that, this part of the world that's burning is then going to move over into politics and government. We're going to watch that go in flames for the next, I don't know, 6 to 7 years. And then after that, it's going to transit into your marriage. And then roughly around that is when this is going to happen. We're going to watch that go down again for the next 6 to 7.5 years. And then blah, 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 blah. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. It is always a blessing. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you seeing me. Thank you guys for the love. I will be, of course, I'm really big on magic and setting intentions and stuff like that. So, of course, I'm going to be manifesting during this. We're always manifesting, but I'm going to be setting intentions again, mostly for me. I'm transforming my backyard. So I'm going to be setting intention for some new sod, some grass, because Nova, she peed all over my current grass. And since she was a puppy, and then the sun kind of burnt it away. And so that's what I'm going to be setting intention for. And along with other small areas of my life, because I pretty much manifested all of the major things that is I love and need and want within my life. And I'm encouraging you guys to do the same thing. Yes, Ro Godwin says your eyelash stayed on. It sure did. But girl, let's take it right off. Am I making you guys uncomfortable? All right, I'll wait. But as soon as this video goes down, I'm peeling these things off and I'm throwing them into the trash bucket because we tried. We tried. I did this for you. All right, guys, I love you so much. If you need me, you can find me at BehatiLife.com, working my magic for myself and for others. And of course, I will see you next Monday. Pretty sure I'll see you guys next Monday, unless I fly to Philadelphia last minute, because that's I'm supposed to be on a flight right now. Yep, right now, an hour ago. But I decided to hang out with you guys, and I don't regret it. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, also, I have a video coming up shortly right after this one, kind of breaking down all these transits. So keep an eye out for that. Check me out on BehatiLife Podcast, all of your major podcasting platforms, and also Behati Love Notes, where I shuffle for you guys every single day, almost, because I'm human, and I don't show up every single day, every other day. Well, every day, and then I take some days off. Okay, for real now, I'm gone. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.